Hi, I'm Jim McCutcheon, a Corps volunteer with Habitat for Humanity. Today we're going to talk about table saws. You could spend days studying table saws. We use them mainly for one purpose here at Habitat, it's ripping boards down to a different width. But if you've never operated one before, I want you to spend a good bit of time watching and seeing how they operate, and we'll talk to you about the safety do's and don'ts. Don't expect to be let using a table saw your first day out unless you're a seasoned table saw owner yourself. So that being said, here's how things operate, here's some of the safeties, and here's how we would cut some wood. So first off, before we start touching or messing with anything on the saw, make sure it's unplugged or the battery's pulled out. The saw blade area has three different safety features that we could talk about. In the back is a riving knife, and that stops the wood from coming back together after it's cut and pinching the back of the blade, which would throw the piece of wood back towards you. Next is an anti-kickback that as the wood slides through here, these sharp teeth would keep it from kicking back in case it did pinch on the blade. And then thirdly is this blade guard that kind of keeps you and your hands from getting too close to the blade. And they kind of adjust up and down as you adjust your blade height. This is a fence that is adjustable. It's your main portion to give you different widths of cut. And some of these tables will also open up so that you can cut wider sections. But today I have the fence over here so it's easier to see. So like I said, most of the time at Habitat, we're looking to rip a board down to a particular width. So this is just over a 7-inch board. I guess it's a 2x8, and I want to rip it down to a 5-inch width. That's my mark here. So, again, make sure it's unplugged. Raise your blade guard up. Take your tape and measure. Move it to your measuring 5 inches between the tape and the blade. Lock the fence down. Put your guards down. Make sure your blade is the right height where there's, like, you see the bottom of the top tooth would be higher than your cutting surface. All right. As you're cutting, you're keeping the side of your wood tight to this fence. You don't look at the blade so much as looking at the edge of the board to the fence. That will give you the best cut. When your end of your board gets close to this end of the table, you'll stop, you'll reach, you'll grab a push stick, and there's different designs of this, and you use that stick to push the wood through the saw blade. You never put your hand down in this area. The only time you might see somebody use their hand is if they have a very wide board that they're cutting and can safely push their hand through there with the work. But then you're still exposing yourself. It's better to always stand back and keep the work and yourself away from that blade. So again, five inches. I'm not going to make the actual cut, but I am going to turn it on just to show you a little something else. This is a brand new machine. It's pretty quiet. My table saw is pretty loud, and when you turn it on and it's winding up, it can be scary. So again, if you have any concerns when you're trying to learn how to use this equipment or any other equipment, don't worry about it. Take your time, learn about it before you actually use it. Another thing, they typically have a pretty sophisticated start-stop switch. There's a kind of a safety interlock, and then there's a big button that you can hit that will turn the machine off quickly and easily. So that's the operation. You would take your wood and feed it into the saw, and then use your push stick. So again, I just wanted to give you a taste of how this table saw operates and some of the safety features. And like I say, safety on this one especially is the most, safety is important on all of them, but this one I want you to learn about before you try it. So, hope to see you on the work site.